Hello and welcome to the Community Clubs of Victoria podcast. I'm John Deeks, and along with the Chief Executive Officer of CCV, Andrew Lloyd, we're in Geelong in the beautiful surroundings of the Royal Geelong Yacht Club. And like so many clubs in the CCV family, volunteers are the lifeblood, and their contribution cannot be understated. So how do we get them? And more importantly, how do we keep them and keep them engaged? Well, Andrew and I are joined today by the man who might be able to give us some of the answers, the Commodore of the RGYC, Paul Buchholz. Paul, welcome along.
Thanks, John. It's great to have you guys here.
Unlike other organisations, the CCV clubs really do all rely so much on volunteers.
Yes, CCV member clubs, volunteers are the lifeblood, whether it be an RSL or a golf club, the volunteers that help with all sorts of different operational aspects of the club. Having retired people, have got a lot of good skill sets that add to the diversity, but also to helping to mentor younger people coming into the industry, which is really important, particularly during COVID. We found a lot of people left the industry, so there has been a bit of a vacuum, so volunteers play a really important part.
Paul Buchholz is the Commodore here at the Royal Geelong Yacht Club. And Paul, welcome to you. Thank you for letting us come in and have a chat to you today.
Welcome, you guys, too. Thank you for letting me express our opinion about volunteers.
Tell me, how many volunteers would you have?
Around about 150, I reckon, over the period of time, yes, during a year is a maximum. But if you look back at our volunteer system, I'm a volunteer, and we've got board members on here. I've got 11 board members. Once again, they're all volunteers and put their time into the club.
As Andrew said, bring their skill sets from their working life to the betterment of the club.
True, that's exactly what happens. And I think people have got some time in their hands, and it's difficult to volunteer if you've got no time. But a lot of the volunteers now are retirees, and they're finding some other avenues to express their opinions and their thoughts and also their time. And this is what's happening at the moment.
Attracting volunteers to help, from the little ones right up to, as you say, the retirees.
We've got a great club here, and we've got a junior member club here which has young mums come in with their children coming in to learn to sail program. They get here, they're the ones that run the canteen, get the kids sorted out in their sailing efforts, and also they are the ones that actually put in and make sure that we are doing a right job as well.
A lot of people think that pursuits like sailing, you need to devote a lot of time or a lot of contribution. It'd be great just for you to talk us through, when you see new people come along, what do you do to get them continuing and to boost their confidence and to be engaged?
We've got some great stories here. You probably wouldn't know, but we this year have the world champion cadet sailors here. Last year we had Eva McDonald. She was a young lass, and she had a little boy on the boat called Jack Jones, her crew, and they got third in the World Championships, which is absolutely sensational. However, it's funny you say that, because little Jack, I remember seeing Jack probably around about 3 years ago. He walked into the club, he had a life jacket on, bigger than him. He sat at the front. Anyway, he kept going, and he was the crew for Eva McDonald in their World Championship effect. We asked Dad what happened, so Dad said it happened to be in January, and there was Learn to Sail program on here at the Royal Geelong Yacht Club. And so he thought, I'd bring Jack down here. It was cheaper to put Jack into sailing school than it was to send him off to childcare. This is one of these things you think, holy heck, how did that ever happen?
Paul, with the cost of childcare, wouldn't let that secret get out too far, that's for sure.
That's right. Paul, what qualities do you think you look for in volunteers or people that come along and say we want to get involved and help with the club's activities?
You know what? It's not their experience, it's their energy. And if people got energy about things, they'll put their talents to anything you want to make sure that if they volunteer for something, they'll make a great sort of it. So another story comes to mind. We had one little lady come along, and you know what her job was? She was excited because we had pot plants around the place. We said, I'll water the plants. So she had a trolley and a bucket of water, and off she went. And you know what? She came back the following year. She had such a good time doing that menial task. I'm coming back next year, which she has done for the past 3 years. So that's, I think, their energy about things and their acceptance of what can happen. And for me, it was a fantastic little view into volunteers.
It's a great example, isn't it? And you'd have so many stories like that.
It is a great example because you don't need to be that seafaring sailor doing everything. There's lots of people that contribute to different things that clubs do, whether it be selling raffle tickets on a Friday night or whatever it is. All those contributions are valued. Paul, I'm really interested to know about the training that goes into upskilling people when they come and first start to get involved.
Yes, well, we've got a new building coming up, which is our new sailing school, which is a government-run thing, and also our off-the-beach new clubhouse going through there. So we've got here, we've got people coming in, juniors come into the club, no experience before they get here, and they're taken on board by a group of volunteers. Once again, a group of volunteers. We do have some paid staff that do training, but we've got other volunteers come in here and teach these kids how to set up a boat, show them around, show them what's available, and then commit themselves to actually showing these kids how to sail. And this is part of the deal. One of those people that are a great volunteer is Tony Bull, who's been the Australian coach for the Cadet Association for the past 10 years.
And you've got him here at Geelong.
Tony's here. He's a sailmaker here, and his commitment to this club and to the junior kids is absolutely exceptional.
How do you engage and retain your volunteers, Paul?
It's a hard one. We must give them a job to do and make them sort of practical members of the club. And our volunteers here, most of them are members of the club, but we do have members outside the club that come in here. The variety of volunteers of the club at the moment is varied. We've got the people that come in here and show kids how to sail. We've got also people that come in and manage the actual race boats. They're all volunteers. They put their time and effort so that we as sailors can go out and enjoy what we love doing as sailing. And this is from that little tiny person down there teaching the kids how to sail or running the canteen, showing the hot dogs and that stuff coming out of the canteen, which we all love, to the people that actually put their time and effort into the boats themselves to take out there, put the course flags up, blow the whistles, run the software programs that are needed for sailing. There's all these skill sets that we don't know about, but people take these on.
Have you ever had a volunteer come along who might be retired who said, I used to work at the Weather Bureau, and you've gone, come on in, or some skill set that you think, my gosh, for us to employ somebody to do that would be horrendous, but here's a volunteer coming in with this incredible skill set.
Well, I've got a big yard and marina here, and to make that thing happen, we've got a whole pile of people. We've had plumbers and we've got carpenters and we've got engineers here. And so some of those guys on the Yard Marina Committee, they're volunteers. So you might see a thing needs doing. So, yep, we can do that. We'll practically jack this. We'll put in a container here. We'll jack it up, put things under it. We'll do repairs to the jetty. We'll do repairs to here. So
sort of the ultimate men's shed, isn't it?
It is, and all those skills from those trades are 100% needed for a club like this. It's the culture that's created, and when people come along and they might feel a little bit nervous or out of sorts to start with, you'll find that the club leaders put people at ease and show people around and get them involved with the different programs. You see the confidence flourish from the younger members that come in to join clubs, Paul. You've probably got some stories of people that have been like that. They're a little bit nervous or shy, reticent to start with, but then flourish and become such great members of the club.
Like the Commodore. Well, when did you start?
Yeah, so I joined the club back in 1988. Over that time, it's been fantastic. I've had a great response from the members of the club here, which is great. We've had some great success. We've actually put through about 250 kids who've gone on our boat, gone on from there to other boats, etc.
All been volunteers as well.
Yep.
Paul, the camaraderie also exists to do with the Yacht Club fraternity. I've been in Darwin with a Clubs Australia conference a couple of years ago, and we're at the Yacht Club up there, which was just beautiful. But all around the country, you find that people that are involved with yachting and clubs love to go and visit that local club, and there is a sense of community and welcome and pride amongst the members.
You feel that through all the CCV clubs, you just get that vibe where this is community, this is us coming together.
Whether it's a golf club or a bowling club or a yacht club, it's particularly to whatever sport you're playing. This sort of stuff is what makes clubs about, this camaraderie between members of different clubs, and the different aspects apply to different clubs.
Talk about being up in the Darwin Yacht Club. I was up there a couple of months ago, and nothing's more scary than seeing the beware of saltwater crocodiles on the beach. And you see the kids coming in, being towed in at the end of the races, and they're all like little ducklings coming in thinking, gosh, are there any big saltwaters around?
I couldn't agree more. When I was up there, pre-dinner drinks, they actually had one of the wildlife people with a saltwater small crocodile with the duct tape around its bill and handing it around for people to pat it.
Yeah, we won't get that here in Geelong, that's for sure.
No.
Paul, what work goes into preparing people to race in open water events such as Sydney to Hobart?
Good question. So I've done 11 Sydney Hobarts. The Sydney to Hobart is a special race. This year would have been its 80th, but it's only its 79th because of COVID. A spectacular sight. 315 boats on the start line.
What does it take to get volunteers to do all of that infrastructure?
Huge. Absolutely huge. I couldn't begin to tell you how they put that together. There was 4 start lines and all those boats going around, keeping people out of the way of those boats going through there. Amazing source of volunteers needed to keep that thing going. Without those volunteers, there'd be no Sydney Hobart yacht race or any yacht race around Australia. And Festival of Sails, if you notice, is the biggest sailing regatta in the Southern Hemisphere. We would not be able to put that on without the 150 volunteers we get here to help us run that event.
Paul, what advice would you give to someone that's considering volunteering and getting into joining a yacht club?
I think the advice there is one, getting them in the door. How do you get them in the door? They think that it's an elite sport, requires money. It doesn't at all. Our yacht club here is based on tradies and non-professional people in the thing. Just a normal day, average day, run-of-the-mill person. So there's one boat owner, but you need 6 crew to run that boat. We'd love to double our membership. And so getting those people into the yacht club to go sailing is difficult. So it's difficult. So once they volunteer, they get a sense of, I guess, ownership of something, and then they start going into the sailing bit of the stuff.
The facilities here are fabulous. It's a multi-million-dollar view.
Our club is basically the only north-facing club around the bay.
Don't show off.
I am showing off because I want to push RGYC. It's the greatest club in the bay.
How has the club interacted with the CCV, the Community Clubs Victoria, and how have they in turn assisted you moving forward?
I know we actually reach out to CCV each year to try and get volunteers to come in. We do put on a volunteer person for around about the last 6 months of this event to ask and see if we can't get more volunteers coming in.
What other ways, Paul, do you get people coming into the club and seeing all the wonderful facilities you have and the activities?
Once they walk in the door, the question is, well, how do we go for a sail? Can we go for a sail? And this is just one of the things we're trying to embrace. So one of the ways to get that is a thing called a sail pass, where people come in, it costs them nothing. It's a way of getting them involved so they can see what it's actually like to go sailing, which people don't ever think they can get an opportunity to do that. And this is part of the way of making sure that people out there have the opportunity of using the club and getting involved in sailing. So I guess when you're looking at volunteers, we look at what jobs are available for people to do. Some of our volunteers here are 80 years old. It's an opportunity for people to get involved if they've got some skills. It doesn't have to be a sailing skill. They might like to sort of be in computers or they might like other stuff. If they just want to be involved in a club, there's umpteen jobs we can do, umpteen little things we can give them to do to make our life easier. And we're indebted to these people every day of our life of running this club.
All the different clubs that are CCV members, whether that's a bowls club, cricket club, soccer club, whatever it is, all have great opportunities for people to come and get involved and volunteer in a range of capacities.
Paul, thank you for your time today.
Thank you for letting me express our opinion about volunteers.
Along with the Chief Executive Officer of CCV, Andrew Lloyd, and also, of course, the Commodore of the Royal Geelong Yacht Club, Paul Buchholz. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, a special volunteer edition. And we'll catch you next time here on the CCV podcasts. Thanks for listening.
All good?